was this momentum building. So they made a calculus about the future, that this was something that was going to crescendo and that at some point it would become incredibly unsustainable for them from a pure financial perspective. And that's it. They're making a bet. And in this case, the people that were acting collectively were able to demonstrate that it was a bad bet to capitulate so easily to the government, especially when in this case they didn't really have much leverage over Disney. They just folded without even needing to fight.
Yeah, and in so many of these cases, Faiz, I think about the universities as a good example. You know, this is not to sort of excuse the decisions that those university presidents have made, but you've got this sort of unilateral pressure, right? So they're getting pressure from one side, and unless donors and board of trustees organize and say, we're not going to raise money for you, and professors organize, unless there's pressure on the other side, that decision becomes too easy to make in some ways. You got to have something pushing on the other side.
Absolutely, and I appreciate how you're focusing on this, the power of association. It happens to be a First Amendment right, the freedom of association. Too often we are forgetting how to know your power as a consumer, as a laborer in a workplace, as a nurse, as a doctor, as a tenant. You, together with your colleagues, with your allied supporters, can exert influence to change your economic conditions and to change upstream business decisions. That's point number one. And point number two, I think, as a lesson learning for the left of center, is too often we have been beat by the right of center, who has been focused on being more comfortable challenging business models, whether it's Bud Light or Cracker Barrel or, Disney, by the way, before. Remember Ron DeSantis and the efforts to tackle Disney then. The left of center, I would want to be more engaged in saying to businesses, when the model doesn't work to serve the values of American society, you will hear from us. And I think the right has done that more often than we have it. I think we're starting to wake up and voice our concerns more loudly.
We should note that there has been a remarkably effective collective action leveraged at Target this year after they dropped, diversity efforts at that store. That has really shown up. There in Disney Plus's case, they don't release daily numbers. We have no idea. In Target's cases, we have seen the quarterly numbers of the sales. It definitely is working. It is putting pressure on them. Now, I want to talk to you, Angelo, about Sinclair, because they have been a sort of a long-time player in this space. They are notoriously right-wing. Those are just the politics that the owners have. There's no question of that. It's like saying the Nation is a left liberal publication, like Sinclair is that. Where do you see this going for Sinclair and Nexstar?
So this is the part that's really interesting and why it's going to be a long fight. And this is the other part of the story, because both Sinclair and Nexstar want to purchase a third company called Tegna, which has about 64 local stations. And right now, Nexstar won the bid. Sinclair came in and said, we will give you even more money. But ultimately, the bid is going to be dependent on the FCC